Hi, I'm Sivan from SlidePiper, and I'm going to take you through a quick walkthrough of SlidePiper. So SlidePiper is a digital transformation platform that's focused on onboarding, KYC, and compliance automation. That's where we've focused most of our work over the last years. As a platform, it can be taken to many other industries and do a lot of other processes, especially where there are manual processes. So onboarding and KYC are mostly in the financial industry. So processes that would look like that are a corporate opening a bank account, for example, mortgages, wealth management, KYC, which is know your customer or know your business. Those are the typical processes that we focus on, but that can be used on many other types of processes. So onboarding itself is a very steep problem. 19% of applications are lost. We get 40% of customers are called over 10 times to complete the process. It takes a long time to actually get this done, and it's a lot of manual work. Then onboarding triggers several other processes: customer due diligence, screening, compliance, and anti-money laundering. So our platform is a digital transformation platform. We're focused today mostly on small and medium businesses, and we're looking at processes like onboarding, digital signatures of many different types, processes of productivity with the customer and internally, and for example, underwriting. All right, so SlidePiper, the full solution. So it's a platform that has two products. The first product is SlidePiper Present, and I'll show you that in a minute. And the second product is SlidePiper Process, which is for building these complex processes. So what we do in SlidePiper, we first of all take a look at the external user, which is our customer's customer. And that would be the external customer portal. So we have a bunch of different modules aimed to take care of that journey for SlidePiper. The second part of SlidePiper is everything that takes care for the internal, the onboarding teams, the compliance officers, everybody who works inside the financial institution and has to look at the application and the documents and the data that the customer actually uploaded in his application. So for all of this, we have for the external side, we've got a form builder, we've got document management, we've got a portal builder where you can add widgets and questions and videos and a lot of different engagement for your customer's customer. For your customer, okay? So like our customer's customer. Then we have a messaging system that connects both internally and externally to our customers. Analytics, of course, we've got team, we can manage a whole team. We've got task tracking. So we manage all of the different tasks that the client has to do and has done and what needs to be done. And then we have a to-do list of everything that the internal representatives need to do. So verify documents, look at data, and so and such. We've got connections to database connections. We've got APIs and everything. So we've got a layer of automation. So we've got a rule book builder where we can build any type of rule. For example, check that the name of a passport is the application name. Is it the same? Does it match? If it doesn't match, we've got an action. So we can send, either send an email, light a flag, something. And we have an artificial intelligence builder where we can actually build the data set and to actually train a machine learning model to understand documents and other things. So everything is built on a no-code, fast platform. So you don't have to be a developer to use SlidePiper. You just have to know how to configure it. You need to learn a little bit about it, but usually after about an hour of quick training, you're ready to go and you can have a process in production in 3 hours. So this is what it would look like. It's all web mobile, uses any browser. So we can do, this is what it would look like on PC. This is what it would look like on a phone We've got signatures, we've got passports, we've got documents that you can upload, and everything that you need really to have a complete digital process for your client. Internally, you've got all the different dashboards. Okay, so we've got task tracking, we've got documents, repository here. This is the like the passport, for example. We've got the data that's been extracted from this passport. We've got all of the different forms that we're looking for the customer, and yeah, and there's a lot of features here, a lot of features. I'm only going on the high level, but this is a very big tool that can basically organize all of your process from the client all the way down to the compliance and everything in between. So the vision is this is the digital compliance officer basically that can do the whole thing. All right, so now let me take you through the actual tool. Okay, so once we've logged in to SlidePiper, so this is what we would see, for example. So this is the builder. This is where we build the portals for the client. And we start with a PowerPoint. So we upload a PDF of a PowerPoint, and that would be for each step in the process. We would have a slide. So upload your passport or your documents, fill in an entity questionnaire, upload your certificate of incorporation, and so forth. So each step in the process, we would put in a slide, and that PDF, and then save that as a PDF, and then we would upload that, and that starts the actual process building. Okay, so that's very, very easy to do, and within 5 minutes you can have your process going. So okay, so let's look, for example, at account opening process. We're just going to click here on customize and open that, and we've got a series of widgets that open that we can just add them very easily to our portal. So if we want to have a questions widget, and we'll see that in a minute. So the questions widget is, we just turn that on. Okay, so is enabled. Then we have the configuration here. We've got advanced settings where we can change also to any language that we want. And that's it. That widget would be on the portal of the client. And these are all the different widgets that we have. We can add a video the same way, is enabled. We can have, this is basically, I'll show you this in a minute. We call it the hopper. It's basically the time bar of each step. So each step of the way that we would have. If we want to have a help for each different page, we can just add here, like on this, please fill in the form, and so forth. So each one of this is the actual explanation on what you need to do in each of the steps. And if you don't want to show the PowerPoint, so you might not want to show the slides because they might not be built for that, you can just hide them. You don't need to actually show the slides. Okay, let's move forward. So every one of these widgets, the most important ones are the document widget, where you basically build the document name that you want. You need to say, like, is this something that the client is going to upload, or is this something that a representative will actually upload? On what page of the process do you want it? Do you want to read it with OCR? So we have an OCR service, and you can actually read that. If you turn that on, then you need to choose what type of document that is, because we have a ready database to actually extract the data and put that in our database, and so forth. The next, yeah. So then we have the form builder. So I'll show you the form builder that we have in a minute, but once we've built a form, we want to attach it to a specific step in the process. So for example, the personal details form, we've got a lot of different forms, but we want the personal details form. That's the form name, and it's going to be on page 2. And we have different configurations we can add like a little button and make it beat, just, so it captures attention. And we can configure the text on the submit buttons for different languages and things like that, etc. Another thing to point out here is that we can do the compliance. So we have compliance forms. So we can make forms in the form builder and then attach them in the compliance area. So these would be forms that only the compliance officer can use. The same for the onboarding. So the forms in the onboarding, only the onboarding officer will be able to use this form. Okay, so we could go, for example, we can have a compliance form, and only that the onboarding team would see that compliance form. Then we can have a different compliance form, and this one will be only for the compliance officer. We can move data through our rule book and through our actions. We can check data automatically in this form and then move them to this other form. So once data is checked in one form, we can then move them to the other. So there's a lot of power in this, in all of this form builder module. It starts from actually making the form and then putting them here. All right, so everything here is configurable. We even configure that we have different messages that we can configure. So we've got these little messages. For example, you need to upload your document. So this is for your client. You need to upload a document. This is our default widget, but we can have, you can upload your own widget, your own little hero for this, and of course change all the text. So we've got there's also for your client, you actually need to verify a document that our onboarding representative has uploaded for you. You need to actually, verify that it's correct. So that's another message, and all of it is, just configure it. You can just change the message. These are the ones that the default that we have, and you can just change it. Everything in SlidePiper is just configuration. We've done all of the heavy lifting in the background, so you can do this very, very quickly. All right, so let me see if there's anything here I want to show you more. We even got a manual task. So if there's something manual that it's not taken care of, you can always add a task for this specific step. You can show that on the actual portal, and there'll be a manual task. And then when you see that in the dashboard of the customer, there will be a manual task for that. For example, we need to have a conversation to onboard you. So all right, so that's a manual task. Okay, and we've got this little code widget where anything that you want to add, so you could add little snippets here. You could add WalkMe, you could add, Zendesk, any type of thing like that that you want to add to your code, to your portal. You can. You just throw that here and it's added. So it's like the Google Tag Manager, basically, built into everything's integrated into our system. Right. All right. If you want to add links to other systems or other portals or other things, you can. There's also the link widget. Basically, just open that. You throw here the link, the name that you want to do that, the link to this other system, a little bit of configuration, what you want it to look like, and you're done. So that's, as I said, everything's configurable. All right. So let's close that, and now let's have a look. So let's see the front end of this for the client. So first of all, we said there's two. I'll quickly go back to this just to put the context. So there's two products. One is SlidePiper Present. I'll show you that one now first, and then the actual process that we've been looking at. So SlidePiper Present, for example, can be, for example, this Hubble. It can be used for sales. It can be used for technical papers. It can be used for training. So this is a presentation about the Hubble telescope, and this is a slide here that we can actually see. Okay, we've added here. We've got a little video that comes on. That's watchable. This is the hopper, so we can just hop around the presentation. Looks very nice. Here we can take a quiz. So we've got the quiz. We've got the little quiz here, and we can go here and actually take the quiz. This is the questions widget where we can ask any questions. So it's a little engagement. This can be used for sales. This can be used for a lot of different things. And here we've got this little engagement thing. And of course it's white labeled, right? So you can have, here we have this like Hubble label and not SlidePiper, but you can change everything here. This is just to show you the power of what this can be used for. So we can use this for training. We can use this for sales presentation, sales documentation. We've had customers use this for like an interactive newsletter. We've had this used for a lot of different things. Even for our initial onboarding product was based on something like this, as a checklist for mortgages. and a lot of different things can be done with this. All right, so that's SlidePiper Present, and we're open to any ideas on what we can use this for. All right, so let's go and see SlidePiper Process. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this account opening process. I'm gonna actually, so here, these are the security settings, by the way. You just configure it, turn that on, you turn whatever type of security settings, email, password, SMS, we can have a caller, customer ID, we can have just an email password, whatever you want, the double authentication to single authentication. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this URL. This URL is actually the URL of the process, of this process, and I'm gonna log into that as a customer. All right, so I'm gonna log into that. All right, so this brings us to, and again, as I said, it can all be white labeled. That's why we have this white label here. I'm using my SlidePiper now for that. And let me just, I'm gonna be just, this is a customer that has already joined the actual portal. And the way they would do that is through a joining form, for example. So if I go to account opening process joining form, this is a module that we actually just make this for you, so you can add this to your website. So that customer could start from something that looks like this. All right, so that's the joining form. We have it by default in 3 different languages. All right, and then from that, they would be, after they fill everything in, they would be created in the system, attached to the portal, and then redirected to the actual login. And that's where this comes in. So what I'm going to do now is just check very quickly what customers are in that portal. So I'm looking for the account opening portal, account opening process. And it's this one. And I want to know what customers are in this so I can show you, log into them. So let's log into demo to customer at SlidePiper. Okay. Great. So I'll go back to my incognito process. Demo to customer. All right. And since this is a double authentication, so it sends a little password to my phone. All right. And I don't know if you can see that, but there. Okay, so 425743. All right, so now I'm securely logged into my process, and this is what it looks like. So I'm actually all done with this process. All right, so this is what it would look like. So here I have a little business video for that. And so this is an investment account application that I'm started. I can click on that. And the first step, I have a form that I need to fill. Second step, another form, another part of the form, and so forth. So everything here, I have a signature, subsequent deposits that I might be thinking of doing. And in this step, I actually have to upload a passport. So if I've already done that, I'll be seeing my passport here. I can download it, and this will always be this. I'll be able to always log in. So your customer can always log in here and see the data that they've uploaded to the bank, for example. Okay, so this is also something that's GDPR compliant. One of the things in GDPR is that you need to enable the client to see all the data that you have on them, and that you can do that directly through this, because you can also add a report here by the onboarding representative or by the representative of the bank. You can add a report and saying that, this is the data that we have on you. This is secured portal. You can see this, and that's something else that you can have here. So different documents have been added to this. So you can see different types of documents here. So we've got this statement and so forth. So everything here, these have been verified by the customer. And this is the front end here. So everything here has been done. That's why it's in it's in gray. So these are, again, these are the hoppers, and once they're done, they go in gray. So let's close that down for a second. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look for actually a customer that hasn't been done. So let's see, page 4 here. Sivan B 46. Okay, let's enter as Sivan B 46. Sorry about that. Okay, incognito. And again, we're going to log in through this. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, so I do need to take the link to this portal. Account opening process. Again, I'll come here, grab the link. And okay. All right, so that was Sivan B 46 at SlidePiper.com. And I won't tell you my password. Huh, okay. Typo there. What's wrong with this? Okay. What's wrong with it? Is that a... No. Okay. And yeah, so now we have the SMS coming in again, 628772. Great. All right, so now you see that this is, it looks a little different because it's not been done yet. So everything's is orange and not gray. And again, yeah, we can watch the video and we can go to YouTube if we want to, and so forth. All right, so we can move through this. Okay, and if we go, we can just fill that, for example, if we want to. That number, male. I am 46. So, and we can either save this. So if we don't have a specific, if we don't know something, we need to come back to it. So we can just save it. All right, and then the form was saved, very friendly. And we can come back, fill in the information. And then once we submit, that actually, please fill in. Oh, all right. Okay, so I'll fill in a date. All right, and once we submit, that can't be changed. So the only way of changing this once it's submitted is if the bank, if someone from the bank, a representative from the bank, opens that form to be changed. So the bank can control that. All right, so yeah, so then this step was done and we move forward. And that was what I wanted to just to show you, that it's just very friendly to know what you need to do. And let's look at what this would look like if we wanted to see this on a phone. So we do need to just refresh this. All right, so it asks you to either use Chrome if you're doing it in the phone, and that's what it would look like on a phone. We've got the forms, we can move forward. All right, we've got our little digital signature. We can scramble, and that's the way basically it would look like on a phone, on the iPhone X. All right, let's go back to our normal. Yeah, and when you're testing this, I mean, you just really need to refresh that. I mean, you would be logging in directly from your phone. You wouldn't be doing that emulation. All right, so great. Let's move forward. Okay, so let's have a quick look at all the other features that we have in SlidePiper. So we've got a rulebook. And actually for this, I'm gonna log out for a second here, and I'm going to use a different user that I've already built. All right, so this is the demo that we did with Collider. And what we've got here is we've got two processes, customer application and the rulebook. So if we look at customer application rulebook, we have a lot of different rules here that we can build. Let's just have a look at a few of them. So if I click on edit, it'll fill all of the fields. This is the actual rule check that we're looking at. So wallet ownership declaration matches wallet owned. All right, so that's different data that we're looking at. And we've got actions. So if it's false, if it's true, great. We send an email here to the admin and to this and to myself. All right, then if it's, this one is customer has a digital wallet. So if they have a digital wallet, if it's true, then again, we're sending here, we're moving data from the customer application. From this form, we're moving it to this form. So we're moving the data around from one form to the other. All right, so this is the insert action. And all right, and this is, yeah, this one's the same. All right, let's look at another rule. Okay, so here we're checking, is personal details affiliation to Israel is known. So if we know that this person is affiliated to Israel, for example, we might want to know that for some reason. Okay, so then we have a rule here. If it's true, if he's affiliated to Israel, then we do, for example, we're moving, again here we're doing an insert action. We're moving that from so the portal source is this, from this portal to the same portal. We're taking the details from this form to this form, and we're taking the field name, which is affiliation to Israel, and putting it into this. So we have a compliance form, which is a PEP compliance form, and we're actually saying, okay, once the onboarding team has actually checked that this person is indeed affiliated to Israel, we want to put that on the compliance form. Okay, just for a, just as a compliance measure. Okay, so yeah, so this is a rule book. It's very powerful. We can build any type of rule here. Let me just show you, for example, something. So let's say we take from this portal, we're taking an identification document name, and we want to add that. So okay, identification name, and that, let's say we just want, yeah, we want to make sure that it matches on the personal details first name. Yep, that makes sense. And we can keep on going that, we can actually say, and it matches another name, the proof of address. Let's see if we have something here, name of recipient. All right, so if all of that matches, all right, so if all three of those are a match, then something would happen, right? So we need to give that a rule name, rule description, and then build the action. But that's a very powerful tool to get all of these automation checks done very quickly. I mean, this took us through this demo and walking you through this is taking me about 2 minutes to build with this action. So think, if you know what actions you want, you can build anything you want here, really, and do all of the things that are done today manually. Just do them by hand, do them automatically, and then if there's an issue, go and drill down into that. So that's a very, very powerful and valuable way of using your time. All right, so let's see what that would look like for the customers on the customer dashboard, right? Okay, so if we go to notifications here, we can see who are our last customers, for example, that have done this. So Sivan 2, open portal. All right, so let's drill down to Sivan 2. All right, so we started through notifications. We see Sivan 2, we've drilled down, they've done this, and we can go and say, okay, let's see how the checkup. So we've got two forms here. Let's see how it starts. So we run manual rules. And all right, so we know ID first name match. That's a fail. So there's something here that's an issue. This is okay. The ID matches the last name. So the last name is okay. And we haven't done other stuff. So we see that we haven't done all of these other processes. So not finished. This one's okay. Customer has Israeli affiliation. So this isn't an Israeli customer. So that's good. And yeah, so not finished. So, okay, so those are the first, and this can be run whenever we want. We can see here in this customer, we can actually see, all right, so here we have a sample of a passport. This is the OCR that's extracted the data, and we can edit that if we want to. We can see the forms that have been made, that have been filled. We can see the personal data. All right, and it's all right, affiliation to Israel. See, this is where that success is coming from, that this is actually the customer has an Israeli affiliation that's coming maybe from here, that this is actually true. And this is where we could open this. If there's a mistake, we can actually open this for the client to refill this if we want to. All right, great. So now let's say we want to actually know what we need to do for our clients. So we can go to the to-do list and we can say, okay, we still have, as an onboarding representative right now, well, I'm actually here as an admin, so I would see all of the tasks. As an onboarding representative, these are my to-do tasks for clients. So I've got to verify a proof of a bank account for John Smith. And also the proof of address. So apparently he's already uploaded those two documents and I need to verify them. I need to see that they're okay. Even though some of the checks can already be done by the actual system, there's still a human verifying this. We don't cut the human out. So when I click on that, now it drills into John Smith's dashboard here. He's apparently almost completed all of the process. There's still a few pages here to be done. These are the checks that they've done. And we can see, okay, let's run this again, make sure that there's no issues with this. So it'll go in and see, okay, now we see that all of them are a success. So we need to verify, we've verified already the identification document. This has been verified. And these are the two documents that we need to verify for him. So if we verify the proof of address, so we need to look at that first. All right, we need to verify, okay, this is proof of address. Here we've got the address. We can see that's good. And right, so we see that, for example, the OCR here didn't work. So we can actually edit this. We can edit and we can say, okay, we're going to enter this manually. So we can copy it from the actual PDF that was uploaded here. 28 Church Road. We can take that address. Let's see, 28 Church Road. Okay, there we go. Copy paste. 28 Church Road. Actually, I want to also get this there. Copy. So double click. Go into that. And that is UK or United Kingdom. Okay, cool. So we've got that, and we can say, you can fill in all the data. I won't take you all through all of this, and update. Okay, great. So we can look at this again, just to make sure. Yeah, so now we have that data, and we can use that data in the rule book or in other type of things. All right, so I'm going to say that I verified this. Good. So if I go back to the to-do list now, we'll see that that has been taken out. So now this is the only task I would have left, and so forth. So we're task tracking anything that the onboarding team, the compliance team, the admin, anyone who has a task to do is actually, they know from this list what are the tasks that they need to do, and basically clear the table of everything they need to do during the day. Great. Okay, another thing that's very interesting to see is that we can actually see who is in this process. So if we go to customer application 2, all of these clients are in the process. We can filter them, say, okay, what's the status? And we want this by all of them in progress. We want them to see them by the completed. What steps are they in? So we want this in ascending order, descending order. All right, we want all of them. And we can, when they started, when was the date they started, when was the last time they logged in. So if we see that, wow, this customer hasn't logged in since December, we might want to, see what's going on with this guy. So we can log into this and, again, check the rules, see what's happening and so forth. We can also see there's these two areas. So because I'm the admin now, I can see both, but let's look at a customer that's a little bit more interesting. Let's look at, what is it? John Smith. John Smith. Okay. All right, so we can go to the compliance area and we can upload if we have any internal documents. So if we have like some type of report, compliance report that we actually get from some other company, or even we could have like a private eye checking out, or checking out the company. So we could add that report to this, or we have the compliance forms. So these compliance forms, and they can be pre-filled by the rulebook. So we could have things already filled. We've got the PEP. All right, so we see that this is, remember we had that Israeli affiliate, right? So the affiliation to Israel is family, and that was moved. No one has filled this. This has been filled by the actual rule and actions bot. So the automation has filled this already here. Okay, so everything looks okay from there, and I can basically say that do my compliance work here. From there, we can move this to other systems and so forth, integrate with that. So this would be the compliance area. This would be the onboarding area. Basically the same idea, just different things. So we could be calculating the risk for this client. So we can say, okay, we can edit this. All right, and we could actually say, okay, what's the risk of this client? I don't know, they want different type of profile that we want. So let's just, fill this for the heck of it. And all right, so let's say we did that with a client, and we can say, okay, this is actually, we would calculate this, and it would send the risk factor to what are the other form that we want. All right, submit. Great. Okay, so again, so all of the work that we want to do here is in this the dashboard of the client, where we're going and checking and verifying that the work has been done and so forth. A little bit more about things here that we can do. First of all, we saw the rule book. We saw the joining form, which is that form that the client can actually join the process from there. And a little bit more, let's dive a little bit more deeper. So we've got database connections. So we can dive in and just, we can connect to different databases. So here we're connecting to this specific database. We can connect to static data. So if we're actually, all right, so what is static data? So static data is, for example, if we've got a list of countries that we're managing internally on our database, and we want to use that in our forms. Okay, so we want, instead of just having, so I didn't show you the form builder, but if, let's say we have a country select, we don't want to have any countries. We want to be managing a list of countries that we work with, and we're managing that in our database. There's a field with a country list that's the managed list, and we want to connect that. So once we're connected to the database, we can take, for example, the country of citizenship and say, this is the country. Whenever we're looking for this is where we get it from, and we're using that in the personal details form. All right, the same here. So this is what countries. So we're using that in the compliance test. Okay. Dynamic data is data that we have also in, so not SlidePiper has that data, the bank or the financial institution or the company that's working with us has that data on the customer, and we want to pre-populate that data in the forms for the client. We want to pre-populate that data for the forms of the compliance, of the onboarding, whatever. So we would be mapping that connection from the internal database. So we have a read access only to SlidePiper, and then we can use that in the internal forms. The benefit of that is that we can then take that data and use it with the actual forms and within the rule book and the actions and everything. So if we have, let's just look at a simple rule would be, let's say we have the name matches the passport, matches the application, and matches the name that we have on the database. If that's okay, then great. If not, then we have to have a human in the loop and check that, right? So that's the aim of that. So that's that's a very powerful. Everything's here is RESTful and very easy to configure. All right, let's see the form builder. Form builder is awesome. It's a drag and drop form builder. We've got all of these elements. We've got pre-built forms that you can use. So let's just look, for example, GDPR consent template. That's the form there. It's already, if you want to tweak it, you want to, if your legal wants to tweak it, you can change this very easily. Just change that. And once you save that, let's have a look down here. So GDPR compliant. Where do we have GDPR? All right, so let's look at the PEP compliant. All right, so here we have that form. Let's look at something a bit more interesting. That one wasn't too interesting. Compliance test, PEP. You know what? All right, let's save this by GDPR compliant. All right. Okay, and save. Perfect. Let's go back to forms, and there we have it, GDPR compliant. That's already form. Now that form, you would go into the portals before, as I showed you here. All right, and here, and through the customize, okay, GDPR compliant, we would go here to the forms widget. Sorry, here, forms widget, and add form, GDPR compliant. So we made the form, and then we're attaching it to the portal. All right, and that's how easy that is. All right, so yeah, these forms are incredible. You can do anything. Here we have an account application. This is a ready form. So the corporate account compliance application, this would take you, this is ready. One click and it's done. This has everything. This has been built with banks. And this is the right data. If you need anything more, you can add it very easily, but it's ready. It's one click. It's one click and it's ready. So corporate account compliance form template. So everything's here. New client questionnaire template. Click on that. Boom. Done. All right. So that's the power of that. And we've got risk calculator. Okay, so and this is the preview of this. This is not the actual form. This is just the preview of it. Then you attach this to whatever form, whatever portal you want. In the compliance area, we saw this in the onboarding area or for the customer. And you could have the step. The customer, you could ask them, what is your risk profile? Okay, so this is based out of the Schwab risk profile. And all right, so if that's calculate, this conservative. If they do this, moderately conservative. If they do this, maybe a little more moderate. If they do go here and here, aggressive. All right, if this has this, for example, then it'll be, I think, talk to, please speak to an advisor. So that's because they, they want this in less than 3 years and less than 2 years. So that can't be, it's not an investment profile that we're willing to work with. All right, so, this is a logical form. Form builder, very powerful. We also have the ability to send personalized links. So we can, we can choose a customer, choose like, what form we want to send them. And this will be a personalized link that would then take us directly to the actual secure portal. Or if we want to use SlidePiper Present, so that link would be specific to that person. So we would know that that link is going only for that. So the Hubble link that we saw before, you can build a personal link to a specific group, a specific event, a specific team that you want to track, and then you can see their statistics on how they're actually engaging with that sales material or training material. All right, let's have a quick look at the analytics. So we've got, we're going to choose customer application, and we can see, okay, it's been opened 49 times. There's a bounce rate. So bounce rate is, that they've only seen one page and left. So this is a process. So bounce rate 14% is right, because most of people are actually moving through different pages. Average duration of the process is 8 minutes, pages, and so forth. We've got different time lengths when this is being used, the different pages, what takes longer than others. So the page one, there's a large form, takes longer. And we can even see the locations where this is in Haifa, Jerusalem, unknown city, Tel Aviv, etc. All right. Yeah, and 24 unique viewers of this. Okay, great. Sales analytics, we're working on it, but it'll come back soon. Notifications we saw. Something that we still haven't seen is the messages. The messages are so these are everything that we can want to send to the customer. So there are some system messages that get sent automatically if we want to ask the customer to upload a new document that wasn't built in this portal automatically. So then it would ask us if we want to send a message. And when the customer joins the portal, they get a message automatically with the link, and also they get a message with the code and so forth. But we basically have template messages that we build, and this is our builder. We can build different messages for appointments, for portal tasks. So if you want to add a document or things like that, and this is the data that you would use, and you would build a message through this. So you can have a preview to that, say, all right, so for Sivan, customer application, and that's the preview. Hi, Sivan. This is what they would see. Hi, Sivan Bender. This is a reminder to, so whatever, there's a place there for the onboarding representative to add that. So they will add that. And then 2, upload your document, give us a call. For more information, please, then they can visit the portal, log into that, and so forth. Yeah, and this is the actual messages. So, messages that have gone out to John Smith, to Sivan, and so forth. So it's a very powerful messaging system. It sends emails. It sends SMSs. All right, you need to have a custom here. So emails, SMSs, or an SMS and an email. And you can also batch upload that. So if you want to send to all of your customers or to 20 customers a specific message, you can just batch upload in Excel a CSV sheet and do that. And here's a template to what you need to, how you make that. So that's very powerful. You can just blast 50 customers with some message that they need to do and get that. Great. Yeah, so I think we've pretty much covered it all. The messaging system, the customer dashboards. This is the customer management system where we can, these are the all the different data of the customers. We can update that. Here we assign the portal. So this is done automatically through the joining form, or we can basically say, this customer, we want to add them to a different portal. So this portal has assigned to this customer is already assigned to customer applications, and we could, in theory, assign them to this portal too. So they would have two processes within the system. This is the customer. The customer processes all of the dashboard of the customers that we saw with the rules and everything. We've got all of the customers that we can see who are the customers in this specific process, what step they're on, what status they're on, and so forth. And this is something that we still haven't seen, which is the actual data to build a data set for the machine learning algorithm. So if we want to add more data to that, we can actually say, okay, this is the document that's been uploaded. We can see the document here, and we can actually add, so we can, we can put an intern on this, or we can do it ourselves. We can just say, okay, we want to add more training data to this to make it more specific, make the machine learn better. And we can say, okay, company name. So this, the name would be, well, this is not this is a passport, but this is just a demo anyway. Let's say that would be like the actual name. So we've got the name. So where's my name here? So we would look for the name here and say, there we go. Let's say Bender. Okay, Bender, and it marks that. So if we save that, it adds that to the database, and that would get sent to the machine learning algorithm afterwards. All right, and let's say we want to, okay, we also want the company name. All right, so this is done for the certificate of incorporation here, but date of, let's say that was the date, and all right, and that was the date. So we have this data. So we know the label, we know the date, the data from what, from where to where in this string. And this data is then, again, we're saving this, and this data is then, will then get sent to the machine learning algorithm, and it would learn more on how to read these documents. So how to read this actual document here. All right. Great. So basically that's most of the platform. We've got the team users where we can add any type of user. We've got different types of roles. The agent would be someone that's not internally an employee of the company. The builder is a person who builds the portals and basically maintains this, like the admin. The compliance officer, the onboarding representative, or a sales representative. So we can have different types of roles, and we can grow this, of course. All right, and we've got logs. So everything, we have an audit trail to everything that's done internally in the system. So everything time-stamped, here we have 497 entries of everything that's been clicked. Everything, whenever you touch a customer document, a form, something, we've got a timestamp to it. So that, of course, is very important. Yeah. So I think that's basically most of the platform. We've got settings here, account settings, if you want to see emails from your customers as a BCC as well. So you can use that too. We've got toolbar settings where you can change the logo. So to white label it, it's ready. I mean, you don't need to, have a long process with us to get your labels and your colors. You can just come here and change it. Your designers change the colors of your website. You want it to look the same, you come in here, you change it, configure it, boom, you're done. All right. What else? And of course, you can change your password as well. Okay, so there's a nifty and helpful help button here, which is using our SlidePiper Present internally here. So if you want, you can also open the manual in New tab, and that's SlidePiper Present right there. So we have their whole manual. We're using our own tool in, to actually do what it's supposed to do. It's a training. So, if you want to do that, you can just grow show that. And there you go. Here you have a how to log in, SlidePiper dashboard overview. You want, process mode. Okay, so yeah, you have the process mode set up like this or on top, depending how you want it. Size of the portals, building the PDF, the link widget, the like widget, sorry, the form widget. Yeah, so everything is here. This is the hopper, and you can just see it. Great. So I'll be leaving that at this point. And that's my, if you want to have a chat with me, that's my number or my email. And I hope you enjoyed this overview, deep overview of SlidePiper. So that's it. Signing off. Bye. Stay safe. And let me know what you think of this.